Here's Jeff Paterson, the host of RinkWide Vancouver. They were at it last night. Jeff and Irfan Ghaffar recapping the Vancouver Canucks victory over Calgary. Our Canucks reporter who will be back at the rink today for practice. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. And before we talk about the Canucks, how about your partner over there last night? Mid-season form with the jokes after the Canucks took the too many men on the ice penalty. Adam Foote leading the hockey club in penalty minutes.
I saw that.
Not bad.
That's what I used to do. I used to hang over that press box and just be snarky all game long. I miss it.
I got you covered. I still do it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mid-season snark for Blake. Mid-season coverage from Jeff. You say he's saying he's all warmed up. He's ready to go here. He was on Jeff Merrick's show this morning as well.
It's fun to be back, isn't it, Jeff? First, like it's
Honestly,
fun to.
It was. No,
yeah.
There's something comforting and healing about being back in the rink on opening night. Canucks do a terrific job. Look, it's not a perfect organization. I think we all know that. But one area that they do excel is game presentation, the pomp and the circumstance, the pregame introduction, Trevor getting the pop again last night as he was trotted out there along with the members of that 95-96 team, 30 years celebrating GM Place / Rogers Arena. So it was a fun night, good atmosphere. And then the game sort of fell flat for 40 minutes, but maybe that was to be expected to some degree. The Flames looked a little sharper having played the night before. They couldn't solve Thatcher Demko. The Canucks got one, but they couldn't get a second one until floodgates opened. And I think Canucks did a nice job of taking advantage of a Calgary team playing its sixth period of hockey, plus overtime, plus a lengthy shootout, plus a travel night from Edmonton. If there was an area that it was going to catch up to the Flames, I think it was late in the hockey game, plus maybe a bit of a surprise in Dustin Wolf going back-to-back. But if you're going to do it with a young goaltender early in the season, I think he's probably up to the workload. But I'll say that, look, the Canucks got a couple of fortunate bounces. The Kiefer Sherwood goal, I think Wolf stops that 99 times out of 100. But not that one. And then Philip Heedle, obviously, off the back of Kevin Ball's head and into the back of the net. So take the bounces, run with them. The Canucks did a pretty nice job of that, pulling away ultimately from the Flames in the third period.
Okay, before we dig deeper on the hockey particulars, Jeff, the white skate jerseys for Linden and all those 95 guys.
Yep.
They've brought back the black skate jersey.
That had to have been intentional, no?
Did they preview something there, Jeff? Because all it did for me was create a groundswell on social about we need those jerseys back too.
Yeah, and it is, for as much as they have rolled out the black over and over and over, like at some point, throw the fans a bone. And people seem to love the black skate jersey, so why wouldn't you try the white at some point? To the best of my knowledge, the organization hasn't released a schedule for the Blacks this year. So when I saw the Canucks practicing the last couple of days, figured that was with an eye towards opening night. But beyond that, I don't know. I mean, they've got the Orca is down at center ice as the primary logo. So I saw people noting that as well. But I'm with you. Sign me up. And look, I say this every October. I still think for a Halloween lark somewhere along the line, bring back the Flying Vs. I would be all for it. Just a one-off. Doesn't have to be a regular thing, but lean into it.
Kevin Lankinen.
Did you see the Lankinen jacket?
He's clearly into
the
it.
Flying V, baby. We need it back too. Although I saw some people saying that wasn't the same shade of yellow or gold last.
The detectives, the online detectives were hard at work, and it wasn't. It was a little yellower,
crisper.
I think.
More
poppier.
yellow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, now that we got that important stuff out of the way, let's get to the Redwoods Golf Course poll question. Not that Redwoods isn't important. They are most important. Best development last night. Heedle's 2 goals, Lekramacky scoring, Demko all the way back, or feel free to go off the board.
I'm going to stick with Demko because I sort of feel I've been a little bit ahead of the curve here with you guys and just on RinkWide and other shows. Really going back to early September when I first laid eyes on him back on the ice, he's looked really good. And there just hasn't been a blip along the way, but that was all preseason and training camp, and that's fine. But when the curtain went up on the regular season, was he going to be there? And again, there'll be tougher opponents. There'll be Saturday night in Edmonton. But he was facing the Calgary Flames, and the breakaway save off Coleman, the save off Sharangovich on the power play. It wasn't just timely saves in a close game. I thought it was the ease with which he made those saves. Like it looked like it was in his sleep. It didn't look like a guy that basically missed a season at all. And so I've been impressed with him throughout, and nothing changed in that regard. But I so firmly believe that even more than Elias Pettersson bouncing back with 90 points, I think Thatcher Demko can change the conversation around this group and what's possible for them if he gets them Vezina caliber goaltending. Now, he's not there yet. It was one night. It was against a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. I get all of that. But the signs are so good, trending all in the right direction here. If he can get back to his Vezina form, then look out for the Vancouver Canucks, because I do think that could change the conversation around this group. So for me, there were other nice stories there, don't get me wrong. But I think getting Thatcher Demko, shaking the rust off, this is a guy that had 2 wins at Christmas time last year. Think about that for a sec. He's got 1 already. Where is he going to be at Christmas time if things continue to progress in the right direction for him and the hockey club? So just a really nice start to Thatcher Demko, making goaltending look easy, and we all know that it is not.
We've cautioned against expecting this team to be super entertaining, yet last night, despite giving up sort of some
great third period,
some possession in the middle period, they ultimately are pretty even stats wise. High danger chances, according to National Stat Trick at least, they're doubling up the Flames 4-2, and they're pretty much even on overall scoring chances. But for the most part, their best chances were in transition. They looked really good on the fast break, Jeff. And it's one game, but the fact they're capable of doing that for at least one night shows us that the bar is there to clear, that this team might be a little bit better in transition and might actually rely on that a little bit more this year.
Well, where that's been a storyline through camp and the preseason, and we've all banged this drum about defensemen jumping up into the rush. It was interesting. They scored 5 times, and no defenseman figured on the scoring at all. Quinn Hughes last night, and we know that Quinn's going to get his points, but he remains tied with Alex Edler for at least one more game. First point of the season, next point will be the one that pushes him into sole possession, a top spot. I thought it was a sort of an iffy game for Quinn. He just didn't, and he had a great preseason. In the preseason, he looked totally dialed. I thought the puck was hopping and bouncing off his stick a little bit. But to your point, when you look at Philip Heedle on a breakaway, and you look at Lekkerimäki scoring off the rush, and the Besser scoring off the rush, and the fact that all 4 lines contributed for them, so they got balanced scoring through the lineup, get a bunch of guys involved. Yeah, quite possibly. Again, it's one game, and so I think we're going to need a couple of weeks before we can truly identify some trends, but where those were the talking points in the preseason, I think they backed some of it up on opening night. So good on them scoring 5-on-5 goals, because you wonder if that's going to be something that they can maintain. Power play was not in mid-season form, but they get away with that for one night, and it can be better, and it will be better. And certainly they got some personnel decisions to sort through about what is their optimal 5 in that first unit of the power play.
So then talk to me about that power play, Jeff. How long do you think the leash is on Evander Kane, and can Lekkerimäki force the issue?
Yeah, I don't imagine that you'll see the switch right away, but Kane's got to do better with the puck. A couple of questionable decisions and just blindly throwing pucks to places that teammates weren't, and either clearing the zone himself or just handing the puck away. So, veteran guy, I think he can be better. I think he will be better in all situations, but I'm still not convinced that he's the guy to complement the others on the power play. We know that Connor Garland can play the position there, but I think you would bypass Garland at this stage and go to Lekkerimäki. So, is it going to happen next game? Is it going to happen next week? I don't know the answer to that. I think they'll stick with the 5 that snapped it around pretty good in the preseason, give them an opportunity, but it's pro sport, and you've got to hold up your end of the bargain here. So I don't think that the Canucks will force anything. I don't think they'll stick with it longer than they have to. It's a long season after all, and I do think that at some point here, Lekkerimäki's going to get an opportunity, unless Philip Heedle's the wild card, and they want to take a look at Heedle, who, 2 goals, terrific, but this guy can be a playmaker. He's got some vision. He's got the offensive chops. I wonder if at some point, they haven't experimented with that at all through camp in the preseason, but I do wonder if at some point we see Philip Heedle get a look on the first unit as well.
Talk about the confidence that guy's playing with, because great that he had the bottom line as well, and he's going to need bottom line, not 2 goals per game, but you know what I'm talking about. But I just love the fact that, that one shift in the third where he was buzzing around with Quinn Hughes and he could have had the hat trick goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy that is feeling pretty good about himself, I think.
How did he not get that? I didn't ever see a good
I don't know.
replay of that, but that puck was sitting there, and it looked like he had most of the net to shoot at. For me, his night started in the first period. Obviously, it started in the first period. That's not a newsflash. But he absorbed contact, and he popped up and actually looked like he was he enjoyed it. It was like, all right, good, I'm into this now. And every time he takes a hit, it's going to be a marker that he's got to pass, and he stuck with it. Speed's on display. It's been there ever since he set foot in this city last year. Scored in his debut against the Red Wings after the trade, and then scored one goal the rest of the way. So for him to get out of the gate with a pair, couldn't ask for a whole lot more. I love the finish on the breakaway. Great pass from Arshdeep, but a couple of stick handles. He looked confident. He looked like he knew like from the blue line in. He knew what he wanted to do, and then he pulled the trigger. And so nice play all around there. He looked excited. Obviously, that one separated the Canucks from the Flames. Was sort of game over. I think at 3-0. And so a couple of big goals by Philip Heedle after he took that penalty to start the third. Some anxious moments in the penalty box, but penalty killers picked him up, and away they went from there.
I'm a deep cut fan, as Matt knows. So let me ask you about a deep cut. It's probably the only time we'll touch on.
What are we going to do with that struggling Hughes character?
No.
Okay.
Ratu doesn't get a whole lot of discussion, and it's sort of another one of those kind of games for Ratu. His line gets a goal, he doesn't get a point on it, but his streak of not being on the ice for a goal against continues. He was 4-0 for his line, shots for and against, 4-0. And he wins the Fenwick battle. He's even on the Corsi battle. I mean, he's not going to be asked to produce a ton right now, but he certainly can't be a liability, and he was that at least last night.
Yeah, I thought it was a fairly quiet first half of the game for him. There was that sequence in the second period. Was it shorthanded when he was surrounded? He was wearing 3 Calgary Flames.
Yes,
and he still got a shot away, and I thought, okay, like he made something out of nothing there. Like I thought that puck was just going to roll to the end boards, sort of a pile of players, and was able to create something there. There was a sequence too. The first penalty kill of the night came early, the too many men on the ice. Elias Pettersson came out for the first face-off, so that was of note. But the second face-off, Ratu out there for his face-off prowess, won the draw, and then made a beeline and was replaced by Drew O'Connor. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. But then later in the game, he didn't win the face-off. And that's where I think things will get interesting, because in those situations, he's got to be able to hold his own as a penalty killer in the National Hockey League, and he just hasn't done a ton of it at this level. So watched him pretty closely in that regard. Yeah, I mean, I think across the board, it was hard to pick a forward that didn't necessarily pull his weight last night or contribute in some way. So, yeah, I would put Ratu in that category as well. When you said deep cut, I thought we were going to be talking about Drew O'Connor for a sec, but nobody seems to talk about Drew O'Connor an awful lot.
He's next question.
No. Okay.
Okay, I got to ask, what did you think of Elias Pettersson last night?
He was okay. I don't think I can go a whole lot better than that. I was glad to see him get the assist so that at least he figured in the scoring. He could leave the rink thinking, yeah, I mean, I contributed. I was worried. The hit was awkward, and not so much the hit. I didn't really have a problem with the hit, but just that spot
impact,
on the ice,
the land.
From exactly. And so I was worried. Like in real time, he went down and stayed down, and I thought, uh-oh. And then took a while to sort of pick himself up. And then when he left and went down the tunnel, you just don't know. So was glad to see him get back into the game as quickly as he did. There were some moments away from the puck and taking faceoffs, penalty killing, those types of things. But when you're getting paid $12 million, you have to do those things, but you also have to do a whole bunch more. And so, part of the power play, there wasn't a whole lot there. First period, his first shot attempt of the night, he just ripped a wrist shot, and there was a ton of heat on it. And I thought, okay, that's a good sign. It missed the net. It wasn't a threat to actually score, but no, he's got to be better. I thought his preseason was okay. He obviously had the one-timer goal in Calgary, but other than that, there were long stretches where you were still waiting for more. And I think after one night, I'm still in that boat. But he is a point-a-game player for one night at the very least. So let's see where it goes. I mean, I think there was something to build on there, but nowhere close to a finished product, and I certainly didn't leave the rink last night thinking, oh my goodness, he is back completely, or he was anywhere close to the best player on the ice.
Yeah. So did they get the decisions right? The hit on Elias and the hit by Elias?
Yeah, I think they did, and I think the process
I think
was
they
pretty
did
good
too.
there.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know that you like. I think it was Patrick Johnson in the press box that said, like, why don't you say there's a penalty on the play we're going to review rather than it's a major penalty? Like, just change the process a little bit there. But I mean, I think the way the referees went about handling both of those, and ultimately, I think taking a look at them and getting it right, credit to them.
Overall process, though, that's the way we thought, the Canucks would have success this season, right? Like, the defending was pretty good. Overall, they defended pretty well.
18 shots.
Not a lot of weak moments defensively. Elias Pettersson looked very much at home, and Demko gave them great goaltending. I mean, it's not always going to be 5-1. That game can be 3-2 on a lot of nights, but the process was kind of as we expected, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think being mindful of the opponent as well.
No, totally.
If it had ended 2-0 or 2-1, I think we all would have said there's the blueprint right there. The fact that they ended up exploding for 5 kind of changed the conversation around them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I still think that is structurally who they want to be, is limit the chances, limit the shots, get the goaltending that they get from Demko or Lankinen when he's in there. I think from that standpoint, there was a fair bit to build on if you're the Vancouver Canucks and you've been talking it up as a coaching staff. And so for them to see it come into fruition in the first game of the season, Adam Foote seemed pretty happy. Post game, he admitted that his team maybe wasn't as sharp as he wanted in the early going, but got better as the night went along. And so you guys know how it is. They hadn't played since the previous Friday. That was the end of the preseason. These are hockey players, creatures of habit, get into that rhythm of basically every other night. And I think they'll work off whatever offseason rust was there or whatever they weren't able to work off in the preseason. They'll get better as they go. But saying that, they've got one in the bag and, pick up and move on to the next one.
Yeah, Kiefer Sure is not always going to score from 44 feet out.
Yep.
But we'll take them on those nights.
Yeah, the Flames got 18 shots. They missed 18 shots. The Canucks blocked 18 shots. So good symmetry there when we talk about the defensive play of Vancouver. Okay, you'll have a rink-wide tomorrow with Irf after the game against Edmonton. We'll, of course, all be at Greta earlier in the evening, partaking, a little festive spread the cheer at the beginning of hockey season. And you'll join us again on Monday, Jeff, before the Thanksgiving matinee against the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, very weird.
Yeah, 4:30 start. I guess that's for television purposes, but hey, they play the games and we break them down on RinkWide. So whether it's 9 in the morning or 4:30 in the afternoon, yeah, we'll be ready to go on Monday. And of course, you're right. Next one coming up after the game against the Oilers on Saturday.